This week on the Whisky Burn, I've got a bit of a special one for you. It's Burns Night, so we're talking about Robert Burns, the Scottish poet. And just for the occasion, I've got a special bottle of whiskey to open just for you. Okay, so this week it's all about Burns Night and what you're getting up to on Burns Night, which is Saturday. Recording this, going out Friday, so that's tomorrow night. Are you having your neeps, tatties and haggis? I've had some haggis and it's very nice, especially if you get it done properly. Now, Robert Burns was a Scottish poet born in 1759 and died 1796. He was 37 years old. There you go. I did have that down in front of me. But, it's a lot to remember for these things. So Robert Burns and his association with Arran Whisky. Now, I was trying to work out what the association was. Was he part of it? But the World Burns Association gives the association of Robert Burns with one whisky company, and that is Arran Whisky, because Robert Burns was born nearest Arran Distillery, which is Alloway. So he was born in Alloway, which is the nearest to Arran Distillery. So they allow Arran on their bottles and on their packaging the Arran single malt Scotch whisky Robert Burns. That's supposedly the nearest he looks, and are allowed to put his name on because the World Burns Association, which is sort of the important part, is what allows only the Arran Whisky to have the branding of Robert Burns on it. So there you go. The poet, you don't yet know it. No. Alloway and Arran are on the west side of Scotland there. He did end up moving. I think he died in Edinburgh as well. So what makes this special apart from the fact that he lived near Arran? This is a 43% bottle of whiskey, natural colour, distilled and matured in Lochranza, Isle of Arran. So a bit of a tasting for you really, and a bit about Robert Burns, the poet. I was going to recite some poetry, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought people just want to know about the whiskey. And what are you having for whiskey? What are you having for whiskey? What are you having for Burns Night in the way of whiskey? So I shall be having some of this. It's it even says on here, it's got its signature. Look at that. Only the Arran whisky bottle is allowed that. So, bit of tasting notes here. This Arran single malt Robert Burns edition is smooth, malty and sweet with a delicious spicy twist on the finish. Enjoy neat on the rocks or a classic whiskey cocktail. Trying to tick all of the possibilities there. So, here we go. This is, I really like the packaging to start with. I think it's very nicely done, very tasteful. I think it's very smart. And on the back, it has a little map of where Arran is, which I think is really nice. Talks about the water cascading down through the hillsides. And one of his quotes that they put on here, freedom and whiskey gan there gither. No idea what that is, but 1786. 1786. It's amazing how someone like that, who lived 37 years, he probably didn't start writing poetry till about 18, as a guess, or maybe a bit younger. But that means he only had about 20 years or so of his life. But if you've never had haggis, neeps and tatties, make sure you get out there and have some. And I'm struggling to open this bottle just to prove to you it is real. Look at that. Oh, I've just taken the end off. Doesn't that just really annoy you, especially when you're trying to do a video like this? So Robert Burns, if you go to Edinburgh, there's a statue of him. I've seen that when I've been up there tasting all sorts of whiskey, as you do. It's a lovely place, Edinburgh. It's one of my favourite cities to go. If you haven't guessed, I am trying to fill some time whilst doing this. And there we go. There we go. So Robert Burns. Do you celebrate Robert Burns? If you do, comment below, like and subscribe also. So I'm expecting from this little, it's I suppose a bit of a taster, but I find a bit of history interesting. So Robert Burns, 1759. So what are we expecting from this again? Do we say sweet, delicious, smooth, malty, spice twist at the end? Let's get into it. If I can. Have I opened it enough? No, I haven't. I can tell you what's on next week's Whiskey Burn. I've got a tasting of next week of an absolute gem. I've had my eye on it for a long time. And I pronounced it wrong for a long time. I used to pronounce it Kalila. Tune in next week. I'll get it right. Straight away I'm getting some malt. A little bit of fruit, but very subtle in flavour, like the sort of on the nose. It's very not a big strong pow. It's that's nice. That it's a nice smell. So bit of malt. Let's get a bit of air. Get a bit of air in that. Again, I like the bottle. It's very the bottle replicates the box there. I think it looks very smart. I like the bottle, very plain bottle almost, but the logo on it. On the back just has a little bit about the tasting notes. So very, very gold, very clear in there. Very fresh. It talks about on the bottle of the cool water coming down the side of the hillside. Definitely sort of feel that fresh vibe to this. I've never had an Arran whiskey before, so why not do it for Burns Night? I was thinking of having for Burns Night. I was thinking of having the Le Cheek, something with a bit of fire to it, something with a bit of. But I saw this and I thought, must get it. You cannot have an Arran Robert Burns whiskey for Burns Night whilst talking about Burns Night. So definitely malt, 100% malt on that. Slight fruit, very fresh smelling, like kind of fresh air. You don't really, and it's really fresh, like you're right up the top of a hill somewhere. Wait for that spice. Ah, there it is. Tiny bit on the front of the tongue, a little bit top of the throat. I'd say that was a short finish, little spicy twist. Exactly what it says on the tin. And that's a really nice whiskey. So if you're sat and having your haggis, I reckon that's a beautiful whiskey to go with it. Really nice. Arran Robert Burns edition. Now I don't know too much about the edition of it. It's not numbered. It's not got any special batch to it. Maybe they bring it out every year. I don't know. I just saw it and thought, I've got to do that. So I'm going to put a couple of ice cubes in that. It's very, very smooth, like it says. 2 ice cubes plonking. Give a little bit of a turn, bit of a swell. Tinkle, tinkle. So yeah, so the Robert Burns Arran. I thought it was because there was some more association with Robert Burns and Arran, but apparently not. It is simply because he was born in Alloway, which is nearest to Arran. And there you go, who would have thought it? And they're the only ones who are allowed to have his face, signature and name on it. Okay, so the ice and the coolness has mellowed it, I'll say. Malt's dropped a bit, a little bit more fruit in there. Oh, wow. People say ice doesn't change. Wow. That proper kick at the back of the throat, and that has proper given me the spicy edge that it talked about. Wow. That's really, really... I think I prefer it with the ice, simply because I get more from it. And again, as I always say on the Whiskey Burn, it's your opinion. You might hate ice and think it's the devil. Well, that's your opinion. My opinion is this particular whiskey, the Robert Burns Arran, is much better with ice. You get that spicy kick more at the back, which I expected it to be less because of the ice, but... Oh. It's smooth all the way to the back. Smelling wise, it I found myself another gem here. You know when you buy one and you think, oh, I'm buying that. Am I really going to like it? I bought it simply because I knew I was doing Burns Night and I wanted something Burns Night, something about Robert Burns. Really doing a bit of research, realising that Robert Burns was born nearest Arran Distillery, so had to be done. Fresh new flavour for me. Wasn't overly expensive bottle either. I think it was only about £28-30, something like that. Make sure you look for a deal. But that's really nice. There you go. I hope you learned something about Robert Burns. I will be celebrating Burns Night. Let me know how you are celebrating Burns Night. Comment below. Tell me what you're up to. Like and subscribe. And that'd be great. Tonight's episode was going to be Kalila 12-year-old tasting. That's going to be next week now. So if you like the Kalila 12-year-old, I'm looking forward to that. Really, really looking forward to that. The tasting notes for that one are immense. So that's next week. Anyway, this week, whatever you're doing for Burns Night, have a good one. Make sure you have a lovely, lovely whiskey and get hold of some haggis because it is amazing. On a slide note, I had some Cullen skink the other night. Oh, absolutely beautiful. So from the Whiskey Burn this week, have a great Robert Burns evening, Burns Night shall we say, and have yourself a lovely little Arran whiskey. Really nice. There you go. That's it for this week. Enjoy your whiskey. Sláinte.